I'll never leave you. That's what I promised a woman who was thrown out of a window as a baby, abandoned repeatedly, and told she wasn't worthy of love.
God is infinite.
Those 3 words changed everything. Today, on our 2nd anniversary, I'm sharing how a woman who waited 40 years for real love found healing in the most unlikely place, with a man who traveled across continents to find her. If you've ever felt broken, unworthy, or that true love had passed you by, this story is for you. This is not just our story, it might be your future. When I first met Arlene in the Philippines, her aura instantly captured my attention. Something felt different, as if time had slowed down in her presence. In our first brief encounter, I learned she was once a firefighter, which was my first job as an enlisted airman in the Air Force. I was healing from my heartbreak at the time. My previous marriage had lasted only 3 weeks before my wife decided she'd rather live with her mother than be with me. The pain was still fresh when I called Arlene and shared my situation. She agreed to meet, and I brought apples and peanut butter to our first real conversation. The simplicity of that moment stays with me still, sharing a simple snack as we opened our hearts to each other. We talked for hours, and 2 wounded souls found an unexpected connection. The most memorable moment came during our conversation when she shared her perspective on faith.
When you truly understand God is infinite, you realize anything is possible.
In those 3 words, I felt her faith, trust in the divine, and the belief that anything could be overcome. I had journeyed to the Philippines to find a wife, unaware that God's plan would bring us together in this unexpected way. Sometimes, you travel the world to find what your heart has been seeking all along. Now, 2 years later, it's the small things that make our love extraordinary. The scent of coffee has become our love language, and the sound of rain on our roof as we sit together has become our sanctuary.
Good morning, husband. Your coffee is ready.
I love how Arlene makes sure I have hot coffee every morning and how she heats water on the stove for my shower when the water is out here in the Philippines so I can clean up after my muddy bike rides. These aren't grand gestures for social media. This is real love, found in the everyday moments, in the consistent choice to care for each other, even when no one is watching. When was the last time you recognized love in the ordinary moments of your life? Sometimes, we look for grand gestures when love sits right across the breakfast table in a cup of coffee made with care. Our path hasn't been all unicorns and rainbows. We've faced real challenges with communication. Like most of us, we grew up using domination theory communication styles, where there's always a winner and a loser, trying to get our way through threats, ultimatums, and other forms of manipulation that are so common in our world. These patterns don't disappear overnight. As a practitioner of science of mind and a metaphysician, I had begun learning new ways of being. However, understanding a concept intellectually and living it during moments of conflict are 2 different things. Instead, we committed to learning better ways. We studied Marshall Rosenberg's Nonviolent Communication, read books such as Super Communicators, and explored Vanessa Van Edwards' work on human connection. We had to unlearn decades of ineffective communication habits and replace them with tools that actually bring us closer together.
It takes courage to heal together, to face our demons and not run away.
Arlene has overcome incredible trauma in her life. Her father threw her out of a 2nd-story window when she was just 1 year old. She experienced abuse and abandonment and still carries the scars of PTSD. I have my past and my abandonment issues. There were moments when I would have left if I had been my old self. But we made a promise. Happy, happy, or sad, sad. We will be together. No matter the size of the dragon she unleashes, I remind her that I am not leaving. And through every storm, I get the opportunity to demonstrate my love and my faith. This is where real love is tested and proven. not in the easy moments, but in the storms. Personal development has been a key factor in our relationship from the beginning.
Everything begins with a thought. We must understand and face our inner demons before we can change them.
Each morning we read various books together and pray, not pleading prayers, but affirmative prayers as demonstrated by Jesus, knowing and claiming them as true. We've come to understand that God isn't a whimsical, cavalier being who arbitrarily rewards some while punishing others. We are only punished by our thoughts and the stories we assign to life events. God already knows our desires. Our prayers aren't about informing the divine, but about aligning ourselves with truth. Scripture instructs us to live by faith and to progress from spiritual milk to solid food. This means progressing from simply asking for things to understanding the nature of our relationship with the divine. We understand that everything begins with thought. So we focus on transforming our inner world to bring about change in our physical reality. When Arlene discovered parts of my past I hadn't shared, hurt and mistrust threatened to overwhelm us. Instead of letting old patterns destroy what we were building, we turned to our spiritual practice. We affirmed the truth of our love beyond the stories of our past. Through patience and consistent affirmation, we rebuilt trust stronger than before. This truth is simple, but not easy. We strive to see the divinity in all, even when they may not see it themselves. This practice taught us to release each other from our pasts and focus on building our future. What am I most proud of in our relationship? I'm proud of Arlene for overcoming her past. I'm proud of her incredible work ethic, how she worked overseas in Saudi Arabia as a caregiver, sending money home to support her children and mother when everyone else abandoned her. I want to celebrate Arlene's loving kindness. I want the world to know the strength of this woman who has overcome so much yet still has so much love to give. Her resilience isn't just inspiring, it's transformative for everyone around her. As we celebrate 2 years together, I promise to continue being her Camelot, knight in shining armor and muse. I promise to continue our spiritual growth, stepping into our oneness. Our relationship is built on the rock of our faith, not on fleeting beauty or material things, although we also enjoy those. Arlene waited 40 years for love. I was guided across continents to find her. If there's one thing our story teaches, real love is worth waiting for, and it often finds us when we least expect it.
What we are seeking is seeking us.
If our story touched you, please watch our Valentine's video, She Waited 40 Years for Love. This is her story. You'll cry. On my channel. In the comments, share one small moment when you recognize true love in your life. Let's create a community that celebrates the extraordinary power of everyday love.
Remember, what you're seeking is also seeking you. Sometimes all we need is patience and an open heart.
Arlene, these 2 years have been the greatest blessing of my life. I promise to keep choosing you every day, through every storm and every joy. Happy anniversary, my love. What we sought, we have found in each other.